Good afternoon, everyone. My sir will join within 5 minutes, so please wait. Log out பண்ணிடாதீங்க because Google attendance is being taken. ஸோ வந்துட்டு நீங்க லாகின் பண்ணிட்டு உள்ள இருங்க சரியாம்மா? லாக் அவுட் பண்ணிட்டு அடிக்கடி நீங்க வெளியே போக வேண்டாம். ப்ளீஸ் வெயிட் ஃபார் 5 minutes alone. Students, kindly please join the link which I have shared to you. Google Meet link share பண்ணிருக்கேன்லமா அதுல திருப்பி join பண்ணுங்க because resource person was not able to join in this link. So kindly please join in the link which I have shared in your chat box. Chat boxல share பண்ணிருக்க linkல join பண்ண try பண்ணுங்கம்மா because the link which we have shared to our resource person, he was not able to join now. So அதனால இந்த லிங்க் வந்து he shared to me. So இந்த லிங்க்ல வந்து நீங்க ஜாயின் பண்றதுக்கு ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க ப்ளீஸ். I'll also cut this call and I'll join in that link. So you people also try to join in that link, ma.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Very good afternoon to all. Am I audible to you? Anyone can respond. Good afternoon. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Sorry, ma'am, it is a problem from my side because of antivirus. So it is
Sir,
not accepted.
Okay, sir, no problem, sir. I have shared this link to students, sir. Let us wait for 5 more minutes, sir. Let them also join.
Okay, ma'am, sure.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, we have only 20 students for the session, sir. Because only selective students were taken for this GATE coaching, sir.
Okay, no issues, ma'am.
Okay, sir. Let them join, sir. After that, we can start, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Okay, very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the session, dear students. Actually, today our resource person also joined with us. As I said in the morning, really the GATE session will be useful for you for your grade preparation, which will be useful for your higher studies and also for getting your central government jobs. So take it seriously because we have selectively chosen some students for this class. So make it useful. Now I take pleasure on welcoming our expert for today's session for handling the algorithms. I'm welcoming Dr. S. Lokesh Sir, Associate Professor from our own institution, Hindustan Institute of Technology. Hope you all will find interesting session with Sir. I welcome you, Sir. Now I'm handing over the session to you, Sir.
Thank you, ma'am. So, very good afternoon to all. There is some mistake from my side for joining the session. That's why the link has been shared multiple times to you, I think so. So, okay, apart from that, we will directly go to the session. So today we are going to see about session on algorithms. So as you are aware of that, how much the GATE is important to all the students to do a higher education or even for going for any government jobs that is related to a central government. So they will be expecting anything that you have scored marks from GATE or CRI or PRI exams if you are clearing, directly you will be having a recruitment. So likewise, a GATE is also important to your higher studies. So as today's, this is your part B session or session 2 for your computer science. So by having this syllabus for GATE 2021, so I am planning to cover the session 5 that is on algorithms. Okay. So this is the part that we are going to cover. So if you want to know or if you want to analyze something, means that you should understand how the algorithm is working. Okay. So before algorithm, it is the thing is you should understand what is the data structures that you may study in your second year. You had a paper, data structures and algorithms, the data structures. If you are quite good in data structures, it will be very easy to analyze you in algorithm. So this exact syllabus is this one. So how we can categorize this syllabus? By seeing this, it is like 5-line syllabus or some 3 to 4-line syllabus is there. How you can categorize this syllabus is, how you can divide the syllabus is, you can divide into 3 things. Okay, so this part is 1 and this and third one. You can divide in a form of a 3. Searching and sorting and hashing, mainly it depends upon the complexity. So mainly it depends upon the complexity you are analyzing. Then algorithm design part, you have 3 different techniques: greedy, dynamic, and divide and conquer. Next is graph search, minimum spanning tree, and shadow space. We can divide this into a 3. By dividing into 3, you can learn the analysis part. Okay, so from algorithm sessions, you will be having 4 to 5 questions in your gate. So you will be if you're reading session 5, you may have maximum of 5 questions. Okay, maximum you will get the 5 questions from this part. Okay, so we'll start with what is an algorithm with quick review of basics. Then we will directly go for how to solve the problem. I have taken some previous year questions papers, okay, to which you can able to solve it, and then some of the additional experiments that already conducted in many of higher education institutions. So both I have collected. So we'll have a very quick review about theoretical part. Okay, so generally algorithm, why you need an algorithm is to find a particular solution with the following step-by-step procedures. Okay, so that you need it. So why you need an algorithm is it is the procedure where you can use an effective way to analyze what is happening in each and every step. You can easily analyze what is happening in each and every step. So that's why we are moving to algorithm. So if you are using algorithm, what you should keep in mind or what you should analyze is you should analyze 2 things. One is a time, we'll call that as a time efficiency. Second one is a space efficiency. So time efficiency, how you will calculate is you will instruct to take the time, how fast does the algorithm performs, what is the effect of its runtime. From a space efficiency, you are analyzing the data structures that take places, what kind of data structures can be used in it to increase the speed, what does the choice of the data structure. These 3 things that we are going to discuss. Okay, next part we are going to move is like analysis, how you are going to analyze the algorithms. So analyzing algorithm is mainly based on how the code implementation has done, how the code implementations. So whenever you are generating algorithm, surely you need to compare your algorithm with the existing algorithm. Then only you will find the solution. How to analyze the algorithm? First thing is we start to count the number of significant particular solution to access the efficiency. If you want to analyze algorithm, first you need to analyze what is the count. Okay, so by counting you can prove the growth or you can prove the efficiency of an algorithm by having a 2 or 3 steps. Okay, so first, okay, so I made it as little fast because that is a basic theory. I no need to repeat the basic theory which you already studied in your design and analysis of algorithm or data structure or analysis of algorithm. All these things you have completed in third semester and 4th semesters. Okay, so first this is an execution part. For example, this is an instruction count equal to count plus 1. So it takes a certain amount of time, okay, to run, but it is a constant. Okay, so how to evaluate the operation which it is executing in an algorithm is first, if there is any statement, if addition, multiplication, subtraction, division, whatever the statement, it will take a common time. Okay, but general information is addition or division or multiplication, it will take little more time when compared to addition. But when it is executing in the system, when it is executing in a parallel process, all it will take the same time. So each and every instruction, how you can estimate is, if there is any instruction, you can keep it as a cast 1, and whatever the information it is there, you can keep it as a cast 2 until if there is no loops. Until if there is a no loops, you can keep this as a single instruction and the cast is 1. Okay, C1 and C2. So C1 is constant 1, C2 is cast 2. Next, for example, if there is a program, okay, if there is a program called if n is less than 0, some statement, else some statement. So this is one statement, we are making C3. This is also one statement, we are making it if. Okay, how many times if loop it will run if the condition is false? Anyone? Anyone from your side? For example, I is equal to, I am considering I is equal to 1, n is equal to 10. I is equal to 1, n is equal to 10 if I is less than or equal to 10. Less than or equal to 10. How many times the loop it will get executed? I value is 1, n value is 10. If I is less than or equal to 10, print I. Sounds right? You know the basic program, right? If I is less than or equal to 10, print I. Or less than or equal to n, print I. Anyone, you can respond through chat. If I is 1 less than 10, print I. Then you have I plus plus within the loop. யாருக்குமே தெரியலையா? இல்ல யாரும் சொல்ல வேண்டாம் முடிவு பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா? If I is less than or equal to n, I print I semicolon I plus plus. What is the result? Anyone? I think I'm discussing myself, okay, like a regular class. So the result is 1. The result is 1. It will not print 1 to 10 and all. Okay. Why? If loop, it will execute once. If loop, it will execute only once until the condition is sorry. And if the condition is true, it will execute within the loop. Otherwise, it will not execute. Okay. So each and every time, in case if it is a while loop or for loop, it will be like n times. So if n is less than 0, C1 only one time it will execute. Then this statement will execute only one times, else one times. So what happens? Totally there are 3 instructions. Totally there are 3 instructions. So C1, C2, C3. So among this, all the times you cannot assure that all the 3 instructions will get executed. Any 2 only it will execute. It depends upon the condition true. So that's why here in previous statement, both the statements are sequential, C1 plus C2. Here, if you are seeing, these statements are not sequential. So C1 is compulsory, it will execute. C1 is compulsory execute. So among this, which one it will get true? Maximum of C1 and C2. Which one is true? It will execute. So this is also among C1 and C2. Only one statement will execute it. So like this only you need to calculate the number of times the instruction it will execute. Next, we are going for a while loop. So in while loop, this statement is first time initialize, one time, sum is equal to 0, one time, while I is less than n. So it is a looping. So it is a looping. So until what? Until how many times it is running? Until n times, because it is a while loop. Until this condition get false, the loop it will be keep on running. So it will run for n times. Okay. So because they are using equal to, because of using equal to, less than or equal to, it will sorry. It even though if you are using n less than or equal to n, also it will run n plus 1 times, because consider I is equal to 1, n is equal to 10. It will execute I equal to 1 until I equal to 10. Even it will execute the statement I equal to 11. 11 is less than or equal to 10. Okay, it will start from 1. Then it starts from 1. Then after incrementing, when it gets 11, 11 will be compared with 10. Then only the condition it will get false. So it will run n plus 1 times the loop. Okay, so this statement is normal initialization 1 times. This is also normal initialization 1 times. This is a loop. So it will run for n plus 1 times. So, but the statement within the loop runs n times because during n plus 1, the condition it get false. So, n times. So, how to identify the analyzing the algorithm to run? For example, C, one instruction, C2. Then this is n plus 1 into C3. So, the statement S3, the statement C3, it runs, statement C3 runs for n plus 1 time. Then C4 for n and C5 for n. Among this, which one is having highest value? Okay. For example, n. N is the highest value. Okay, not n plus 1. The number of times n is the one is n square, n square, n cube, n power 4. Like this one, like that only, it will be proportionally, it will be working. So among the statement, n is the highest term. So always the time required for this algorithm is proportional to n. So always the cost of executing of while loop will be order of n. Okay, so big O of n. So what is big O? Big O, what is omega, what is theta, we'll discuss. So always the order of proportion will be big O of n if we are having multiple statements. Otherwise, it will be like log n. So what is that? I will tell you. Okay. Now you have two while loops. You have two while loops. Here also you are having. Here also you are having. So loop in while loop, within while loop, you have one more inner loop. So if it runs for n plus 1 time, it runs for n into n plus 1 time. Okay. This is loop within loop. So if it runs for n plus 1 time, it runs for n into n plus 1. Same thing you are, as like previous program, you are calculating how many times it is running, then you are bringing into it. Among this, which one is the highest term is, see this is n, this is n, here you have n square, n into n. So based upon this statement only, inner loop statement only, you can predict what will be the result. So the n square is the total execution time of this program. Next general thing that you have to remember is when you are having a loop, the runtime of loop is almost the running time of the statement. In case if it is a nested loop, it will become n square. So if it is like a normal thing, it will execute only once if the condition is true or false. Okay. So to make it very clear, we will have one more on table column. You will have an idea. Consider if you are using a constant, there is a single instruction without any loops and all. If you are using any constant instruction plus b, or sum is equal to a, multiplication is equal to a into b into plus c, something you are using. So all these comes under constant. If we are using any logarithmic function, okay, any log values, if you are calculating, you will be getting the function as a log n. Next, if you are using log squared, it means if you are using square root function in your program. So square root function, if you are using to find a square root of some number, you will be using include map.h in a C program. Then you will be using square sqrt in bracket some variable name. So it will calculate the square root. So that is, if you are using squared values in your program, then you will get log square of n. Then if your program having linear, starting from the main till the conclusion, till the end, you don't have any loops, means then you will be having order of n, O of n, that is called as a linear. N log n is for while loop. If we are having program having only a while loop, sorry, if we are programming having any division, if we are programming having any division part, then you will be having n log n. Then if we are having program having two for loops, if your program having two for loops, then you will have n square. If your program having three for loops, then you will be having n cube. If your program having any power of symbol, power of, that means exponential, power of 2, power of 4. If you're using power operations, then your function will be 2 power n. So how you are derived this 2 power n cube, n square, n log n, all these things that we are going to see. By having this table column, you just keep in mind, if there is a 2 for loop, your growth or function is n square. 3 for loop n cube. If it is a power, 2 power n. Okay. So how you got this n square, n cube and all, we will see. Okay. So you clearly note down whenever you are executing any program, if it is a linear, if it is a linear, it will run the program without whatever the input size, it will work smoothly. But case if we are going for a n log n, order of n log n, so it depends upon the size of the input, it will vary from 0 to 100. In case if we are using 2 for loop, quadratic is 2 for loop. So the deviation, it will be high. If you are using 3 for loop, you will be having a larger deviation. So how many times you are trying to use the inner loops, based upon that, the time it will be increased in your algorithms. Okay. So these are all some basic things to remember whenever you are going to provide a different input. So this is started from 0 to 1000 to 10,000 inputs. Same, if you are going for a 10,000 inputs, the linear, you will have only small deviation. But in case of while loop or n log n, you will be having deviation. Quadratic and cubic, you are having a very long deviation. It takes 1 second to run for it. Okay, 1 second is also a delay. You can tell within 1 second it is running. It is not the thing that we have to determine. Even 1 second is late when compared to execution of quadratic or cubic instructions. Okay. So now we are going to see an important part, the things that what we have covered previously, the order of growth. So how you will mention the order of growth is, we have seen that's n square. We have seen what is n. If there is a linear sequential, you will be representing n. If you are having 2 for loop, n square, 3 for loop, n cube, like that. So how you will represent this, you will be using the function called big O notation. So this is called asymptotic notation. You have a lot of theory behind asymptotic notation, so I no need to cover once again. It will prove some derivation with the theoretical, so I don't want to discuss once again the theoretical history behind the big O notations. So you will be representing big O of n square for time proportional and big O of n for time proportional with the single statements. Okay. Now, if there is a statement, so consider if there is a statement, you got arrived like n square. It means n into n times a particular loop is running, and inside the loop you have 3 into n times plus 10 seconds. So if the problem is they are giving to derive n square minus 3 into n plus 1 seconds of the input size, the program is running. So by seeing the problem statement, by seeing the question itself, you can answer it how many for loops are there. Okay, by seeing the question itself, you can answer how many for loops are there. So by seeing this itself, you can determine this is the highest terminology. This is the highest terminology among this. Okay, whatever the value is substitute for n square will be always highest. So if n square is always highest, it belongs to the algorithm order of n square. Okay, it means it is big O of n square. Okay, by seeing a statement itself, you can tell to which it belongs. But in case of division, you cannot able to tell. But in case of looping statement, you can easily identify it. So keep this in mind. Okay, some comparison to identify. So n value, if it is a 10, 100 or 1000, how many times it will be getting executed. So if there is a n is equal to 10. So if there is a 2 for loop, it will execute 10 square. If it is 100 n, it executes 10 power of 4. Likewise, it will be keep on executing. So it depends upon n, size is n. For example, linear is 1. If there is a 10 instruction, okay, it will execute only once. It will not repeat the instruction. So why this one is, if there is a 10 instruction, if it is a linear 1 by 1 statement, it will execute only once. 100 only once. 1000, everything it will execute only once. But in case of the conditions that you are mentioning, some while loops, then it will execute based upon the looping conditions, or some division problems and all, you will get log base 2 of n. In case of normal while loop with n, it will execute n times. Inner loop 10 square, 10 to the power of 2, that is 100 times, and 1000 times, 10,000 times. Likewise, it will be keep on executing. Okay, so this is an identifications to compare how many times the loop it will executed when you are writing a functions in it. Okay, so these are all the graphical explanation about the same. Okay. Now, kindly note this. Okay, wherever you are going to answer, at least you will have minimum 2 questions from this part. You will be having 2 questions from this part to understand the notations. Okay, so already we said constants, logarithmic, linear, while loop, quadratic, cubic. From this only you will be having sequence of problems. Okay, so order of growth. Okay, what is the order of growth? This kindly note the formula. So this will be help you to substitute the n values what given in a program. Okay, what given in a program. So for example, if an algorithm takes 1 second to run with the problem size of 8, okay, the algorithm, it takes 1 second to run with the problem size of 8. What is the time requirement approximately for that algorithm with the problem size of 16? Okay, so what you have to do is, you got n value. If you got n value, that is enough, because everywhere you are having n value. Everywhere you are having n value. Okay, so because here they are already given for 8, so all the division value that you are keeping it as an 8. So order of log base 2 of n. N is this, it is 1 second to run the problem with size 8. So existing problem you are taking, and then you are analyzing. You are analyzed as 4 divided by 3 seconds. Then order of n, 1 into 8, 2 seconds. If you are substituting it for n into n log n, 16 times divided by existing 8 into log base 2 of. So like this only you need to calculate when the problem arises based upon the growth rate of functions. So you need to apply the value with existing problem, what problem size they gave, you have to divide that problem. You will be getting how many seconds the program it will take to execute for the problem size 16. So these are all some basic functions in it. Okay, now how to calculate this mathematical facts behind the algorithm. Okay, what is the mathematical qualities or facts behind your algorithm? So for example, you have a for loop. You have a for loop for I is equal to 0. Sorry, I is equal to less than n, I plus plus. So how you are bringing this terminologies? I is equal to 0 I have mentioned. Here I is equal to 1. So keep it as I is equal to 1. If it is I is equal to 1, summation of I is equal to 1. So this is the statement. So the condition, until what condition the loop it will get running, it will be running until n. So what value you are assigning for I it will be started from 1. So this is the summation formula that for each for loop you need to derive. Okay, for each for loop you need to derive. So if you are using, okay, if you are using multiple for loop, it will be keep on increasing. If you are using multiple for loop, it will be keep on increasing. Okay. So if there is a 2 for loops, if there is a exponential value, so exponential means 2 power I. So you will be having 2 power I. Next is, keep in mind, if you are using a while loop in a program, if you are using a while loop in any program, okay, keep in mind your output will be order of n. Okay, if you're using any while loop, it will be order of n if it is a single loop. Okay, because of the terminology defined. First. Second, if we are using while loop, okay, if we are using a while loop, in a while loop, you are using one more internal. Keep in mind, by seeing the program itself, you can tell which notation it belongs. Here you are having only one while loop. It is order of n or big O of n. If you are using while loop, internal one more while loop you are having. So this is a internal while loop. So if there is a 2 while loop, you will be having big O of n square. The calculation already we have discussed. Next, if you are having 3 for loop, already I said, if you are having 3 for loop, then you will have order of n cube. Order of n cube. If you are having 2 for loop, it is order of big O of n square or order of n square. So this you should always try to keep in mind, which helps you to easily understand how this function has come. Okay. Now, if there is a while loop, or sorry, if there is a if loop, what you will have is you will be having a linear. If you are having loop, you will be getting a linear value in it. But in case if you are using a recursive function, so you may know Tower of Hanai problem. You may studied Tower of Hanai problem. I recall. You will have 3 pegs. Okay. I no need to spend much time on this. We will concentrate on problems. So you will have 3 pegs. This is called as a peg. This is A. This is C, and this is B. So you need to move this 3 disc. These are all considered as a disc. You need to move these 3 discs to here, as the bottom disc should be here. That is, higher disc should always place below the lower size of the disc. You should place all these 3 discs to here. So you cannot able to do directly. You cannot able to place C here. You can use B as an auxiliary peg. B as an auxiliary peg to move to C. So you will be moving here. Then you will move second one here. Then you will take this one. Then you will take here. Like this, you will be keep on moving it. So this can be done by recursive. Recursive means a function which calls itself is called as a recursive, or equation, a function which calls itself repeatedly until a certain condition is satisfied. So that is called as a recursive function. So recursive function, when you are running, you need to calculate each and time how it is running. So recursive always represented by T of n. Keep in mind, recursive function always represented by T of n. So now we are taking the statement that from the problem, from this A, B, C, we have n disk A, B, C. Okay. So how many times the instruction is running? So C1, C2, C3, C4. So by seeing this function, it will be start running multiple times. By seeing this statement, it will be start running multiple times. So C2, it will be T1, T of n minus 1 times. Okay. And last statement, it will be T of n minus 1 times. So all the statements that you have, how many T1 minus 1 are there? There are 2 into Tn minus 1, because it is running for n minus 1 times. So 2 statements in your program, it will run for n minus 1 times. It will not run for n times, it will run for n minus 1 times. There are 2 statements which runs for n minus 1 times. So that's why 2 into n minus 1. Remaining all the statements are called as a linear statements. All the statements called as a linear statements. So T2 into Tn minus 1 plus C. So this is the recursive equation for growth of the rate for Hanoi tower problem or tower of Hanoi problem. 2 into n minus 1. Now, if they are providing some repeated substitution, so if they are asking you to do some substitution, that is, there are two types of substitution. One is a forward substitution, second one is a backward substitution. We will proceed with the forward substitution, that is assigning the value for each terms, what output that you will be getting in the program. So for example, this is the statement that we have derived from Tower of Hanoi or Hanoi Towers. So this statement only we have derived. So this C is the constant value. Now what we are doing is, we are keeping this as a equation 1. By keeping this as a equation 1, substitute the equation 1 here. Substitute equation 1 here. It means for T of n, you are going to substitute this complete value. So already you have 2 star. For this T of n, you are going to substitute this entire statement. Okay. So for this T of n, once again 2 into T of n minus 1, so minus 2 plus C and this C. So likewise, you are getting an equation 2. Now substitute equation in equation 2, substitute equation 1. So 2 in 1, substituting 2 in 1. So from 2, once again you are taking the statements, it will be keep on going like this. So at a certain stage, you have to do at least for maximum n is equal to greater than 2 or greater than 3, based upon the program given. Here they are given 3 disks, so n is until n is greater than 2, 0, 1, 2. You can do it for n minus 1 times. So if you are doing n minus 1 times, you have 2 power 3 into T of n minus 1. Among this, which one is higher? It is the terminology 2 power 3 is higher. So it means 2 power 3 means n is keep on growing. Then your response will be 2 power n. So what the statement it have did is, whatever the statement is keep on growing, it will be replaced by I. Substitute I minus 1th time. So I, this is I, 2 power I minus 1, 2 power I plus 2 power 1. So it will be, now I is replaced by n. The same, if you are replacing I by n, you will have 0 here. Then some of the values it will get changed. At the end, what will happen is, the highest terminology among this statement is 2 power n. So the algorithm, it works big O of 2 power n times as a time efficiency. So far we have covered what is a time efficiency, how generally you need to calculate the time efficiency. Now among time efficiency, there is a certain constraint. What is the best case? What is the average case? What is the worst case analysis? For example, to differentiate what is best case, average case, and worst cases, you have an array. So array consists of sequence of elements. You are having a sequence of elements. Here you have 10. Here you are having 15. Here you have 16 and 18. For example, so here you have 10, 15, 16, and then it is 11. Now I need to search an element within an array. If I am giving the key as 10, if I am giving the key value as a 10 to search, so which is present in the array in the first location, so it means it is a best case. Okay, minimum amount of time that an algorithm required to solve a problem is 10. If I'm searching for a key 10, it will be best case. If I'm searching for an element called 11 or 16, okay, here you have some values. Here you have some values. Here you have some values, 100. So average cases, if I am searching for the value between 13 to 17, okay, middle plus 1 or middle minus 1 values, or before reaching to the end designation, if I'm searching any value, if the program, it will take average case analysis. Okay, if I am searching for the value which is end, that is called as a worst case. It means it is running for n times to find. Here it running for n divided by 2 times. Here it is running for only 1 time. So that is the difference between best case. Best case means within a single attempts, or within a single attempts, if you are getting, it is a best case. If you are doing at least divided by 2 times, then it is called average case. Worst case is you are searching the element till the end. That is called as a worst case. So this helps you to analyze or retrieve the informations how quickly in an algorithm. So these are all some basic theoretical. Now from the above questions, okay, from the above questions, we will have a small questionnaire. From that questionnaire, you may get some idea about it. So you try this. Kindly click the link. Kindly click the link. Okay, even I will also do for you. I think you can see my screen. So kindly click the link which I have given in a chat box. Kindly attend it. Those who are trying, try by your own. What will be the output for the time complexity for 2 for loops? So try by yourself. I request try by yourself. I can see the results who are all attending. Kindly attend the questions which I hosted. You will have an idea. I shared the question, shared the link in a chat. Kindly attend. I don't know how many of them you are doing. Anyone, you can respond whether you are attending. So, so because of time constraint, see what is the time complexity of function if you are having two for loops. So if you are having two for loop, already as I said, you have n square, n log n, n log n, log n. So if there is a two for loop, default it is like n square will be the answer. We can check the answer. So this is the formula that what we have solved previously. Okay, n times it is getting running for first time. Because of it is internal loop, it will run for n square times. Now you can observe here also you are having two for loops. Here also you are having two for loops. So then this is also it is n square, no? Keep in mind when you are executing a loop, kindly check until whether the loop is running until n times. Here the condition is it is starting from n times and it is ending by 0 by dividing it. So it will not run for n times. It is a two for loop. Okay, two for loop means it is order of n square if it starts from I is equal to 0 or I equal to 1 to n. But here in a for loop, I is started with n time until the condition 0 it is running, but not all the values from n to 0 is running. It is divided by 2. It is dividing the value by 2. If it is a 10, it will divide by 5. Okay, it will run for 5 times. So order of n will be the answer for this, if I am not wrong. Yes, because you are dividing 10 divided by 2, 10 divided by 4. So it will be keep on reducing the instruction size when it is executing. Next one is among which one? Among which one is the increasing order? If you remember the graph, among this which one you are having higher priority? So higher priority always started from 2 power n. Okay, it will be higher priority. Okay. Increasing order means higher priority. Sorry, higher priority will be always n log n. Then second, this one is third, and 2 power n is the least priority that you will be giving it. So the answer is first one, n log n will be the increasing order. In increasing order, n log n, then n power 3 divided by 2, then you have n power log n, then this one. So this is the order of growth which you may come across in a graph. If you are remember that graph, it will be easy. Now, what is the tightest lower bound? What is the tightest lower bound of number of comparison in worst case analysis? In worst case analysis, what is the lowest bound? It is mainly depends upon the what type of sorting you are using. This algorithm is mainly for sorting. We didn't cover sorting. So it mainly depends upon algorithm. So what algorithm that you are defining. Okay. So the problem may be they will be giving what type of algorithm that they will be choosing it. So order of n log n, it will be available for tightest lower bound for sorting. Still sorting we didn't cover. We'll see that too. Then what is the time complexity for this function? So you have for loop. Within for loop you have while loop. You have for loop. Within for loop you have while loop. How many times it will execute? N square or n times. It will run for n times because here you don't have any constraint for this while loop because all the constraints are belongs to only on for loop. So keep in mind if there is one for loop it starts from I to n means it is a n. If there is a 2 for loop it starts from I to n, it is n square. For 3 for loop it is n cube. Whatever the loops within it. Okay, within a for loop you have if loop, it is same. Within a for loop, if you have if loop, sorry, while loop, same. How many while loops if you are using within a for loop, it executes based upon a for loop, not while loop. But if you are executing while loop within a while loop, it executed based upon while loop. But for a for loop, always it depends upon a for loop only. Not internal while loops are considered for execution. So you will be having order of n. Only you have two more questions. So here, what is the priority that you will be having in execution part? Okay, so which you will be having higher priorities whenever you are doing multiplication. Then only you will be having higher priority. So multiplication part that you will be giving higher priority when the loops are executed. So last one is you have a function int GCD. Okay, greatest common divisor of n of m. You have modulus operation in it with if loop. What is the result of it? Whether it is a log n, whether it is a log n log n. I think theta of log n, because you are doing if loop with modulus operations. Okay, it mainly based upon modulus operation. So Akash login, and then 18104337 he logged in. So these are the some 1, 2, 3 students they have logged in. They secured the result. Okay, so we'll back to the session. So to see little more important things about algorithm in a form of a questions arise from gate. So this is one of the gate question which comes in last 2 years. Consider n into n array. So you have n into n array. You have n into n array. So v of I comma j. So sorry, I will erase this. So n into array v of I comma j. So it will be like a matrix form because they are representing two variable or two identifier to represent a single value. So it means 0, 1, 2, 3 until n times. Here you have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. So like you are representing. So the question is, an n into n array V is defined as follows: V comma I j is equal to I minus 1. So I value 0. This is I, this is j. So this is I, this is j. So I minus I is this is 0. Then I minus j is 0 minus 1, you have minus 1. Then 0 minus 2, you will be having minus 2. This is I value 0 minus 1 minus 1, 0 minus 2 minus 2, 0 minus 3, here you will be having minus 3, 0 minus 4, it will be keep on running. Likewise, 1 minus 0, 1, 1 minus 1, 0, 1 minus 2, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. It will be keep on going. So if it goes, what is the sum of the element of an array V that you are representing? Okay, if you are doing this, what is the sum? What is the total sum of the array for n elements? So if you are calculating the sum for this, you will be getting 0. I think so. Okay. So this is the explanation. The answer is 0. Okay. So this is the explanation. 0 minus 1. If you are doing all these minus, then you will get the element as a 0 at the end. Okay, so you no need to work for all the things. If you are calculating for at least some 5 to 4 variables, you will be 5 to 4 rows and columns, you can identify what is the result. Okay, sometimes you may get negative values. Even though negative values, it to be controlled as a 0. So this is one of the question asked in 2019. Next question is based upon a data structure. This is also from 2017 question. So what type of data structures that you will be using it? Okay, which comes, this question comes under session 5 they asked instead of session 4. So what data structure? You may remember, depth first uses stack concept, breadth first uses queue concept, sorting uses heap concept. So 3 for x it is 3, for y it is for x it is 3, y is equal to 2, z is 1. So for sorting you are using heap, for depth first search you are using stack, for breadth first search you are using queue. So answer is C. So C is the answer. This is the default structure we are having. Next question. Okay. This is based upon a C programming, which you are analyzed, which is asked for algorithms. So there is a matrix. Once again, it started from array. You have a 4 cross 5 array. Sorry. You have 4 cross 4 cross 5 array. You will be having 0 to 4 here. Here you will be having 0 to 5. Okay. So all the values you need to fill in the matrix. You need to fill. Now you want to identify this. So this is not a multiplication. This is a pointer value. So this is a pointer value. You need to identify the pointer value. So how you need to identify the pointer value, where it exactly points, where exactly it points. First, each and every terminology you have to solve it separately. Then only you can able to identify the solution. Okay. So we'll see step by step process how to solve this. See the question. This is the question. Same the value that we are doing it. So by considering the address, 1 as 1,000. Here we are kept as a 0. You can keep it as a 0. But in a system, usually it starts with some base address. So the location of 1 is 1,000. And this is 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004. So by keeping that, A value is 1,000. A value is 1,000 by plus 2. Because base address, keep in mind, base address is considered. Okay. Base address is considered. So you are substituting the address A, okay, is equal to 1,000 because of base address 1,000. Now, what you are doing is, by keeping this, you are keeping it, then you are going to see the elements that is available in 1,000. The element which is available in 1,000. What is the element which is available in 1,000? This is double pointer, so which points to the value. Okay. So single pointer means points to the address. It points to the value. So double pointer of 1,000 means what is the value which is available in 1,000? 1 is available. 1 is available. So what you are doing, you are going to replace this by 1. So what you will have? 1 plus 2, 3. So that is the 3 that you are having. This as is this previous, same here, and this 1,000 it relays same. Then what you are doing? 1,000 plus 3, 1,003. You got 1,003. Now you need to find the location. You need to find the location. So if you need to find the location, you need a 2 pointers. You need a 2 pointers, then you can identify. So what is there in the matrix of 1,003? So you can see 0, 1, 2, 3. You have 4. Sorry, 1,003. 1,000, 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. So you have to identify 4th element in a fourth row. We are going to identify fourth element because you are having 3 here. Okay. So what you are doing? Sorry. What you are doing? 0, 1, 2, 3. Third row, third element. 0, 1, 2, 3. Third row, third element. From this address 103, you have third element. From the third element plus this 3. Okay, because these are all address. See, these are all address. So you are bringing this 3, and the value which is there in 1003 is 3. So you are identifying A of 3, 3. So what is the element in A of 3, 3 is 19. So 19 is the result. Next one is a simple question. Where it will get fit. Okay, so you have a while loop where it will get fit. So if you have a while loop, as I said, order of n, as I said, big O of n. The problem here is you don't have any big O of n. Keep in mind, you don't have any big notation of n. You have only the linear value. You have only the linear value of n. So by default, the linear value is log based of n. Keep in mind, differentiate yourself. The answer is big O of n, big O of n square, big O of n cube is our solution for if loop and while loop. Okay, 3 for loop, 2 for loop, 1 for loop, and then while loop. So here you don't have any reflection on big O notations. Okay, so the log base 2 of n, it becomes linear when the condition is running. Next is tightest upper bound. Already we have seen this question. Okay, so order of n. Now in a quiz we have seen this question. Okay, next question is, let W of n and A of n denotes respectively what is the worst case analysis and average case running time of an algorithm executed for input size n. Okay, which always true. So can you, what are the things that we have discussed? We have discussed big O of n. Okay, big theta of n, big omega of n. We didn't discuss what is a big theta of n, big omega of n. So whenever there is a lowest bound, we'll call as a LB. Whenever there is a lowest bound asymptotic notation, if you are know the asymptotic notation, if you are clear with the asymptotic notation, you may have an idea what is big O, big theta, big omega. So if it is a lower bound, then you will have always big O of W of n in all the cases. In case if it is a lower bound, then you will have big O of Wn. In case if it is a higher bound, then you will get a big theta of n, big theta of n. So next, so this you may come across in Hanoi towers, tower of Hanoi, T of n plus 1. T of n plus 1. So do you remember what we have did? If the equation is there, you have to substitute T of n. You are marking this as a equation 1 and 1 in 1, replacing 1 in 1. So the value T of n divided by A plus 1, you will be replacing instead of T of n. So if you are calculating how the values, it will be keep on changing. So you will have an output based on this. Log A, log B of n. So this is the terminology that already we said. Do you remember that? T of n. So T of n is this one. You are going to substitute iteratively. Repeatedly you are substituting T of n. 1 A square, then A cube, then A power 4. It will be keep on increasing because you are repeatedly you are substituting the value. At a certain stage, you are going to change the value of it, replacing k by n or replacing I by n. So if you are replacing, then you have this value at the end. So this is the constant. this is the constant. Okay. So if we are having a constant value, then you will get the result in a form of a log. So there is a two constant value here. So you are going to take two constant log A and log B based upon n. So theta of log A log B of n is the result for tower of N I problem. Theta of log A log B of n. Then which among it is a true? Which among it is a true for I3? What may be a true for I3? When you will get a I3 is if we are having three for loops. If we are having three for loop, so then only you will get a I3 here. If it is a 3 for loop, you have only omega. Omega is the tightest bound. So we are not fixing. Among these you will have a solution. So they are given option whether you have only one solution, or it is a combination. So there is a possibility to get more than n cube. There is a possibility to get n cube, but you don't have any big O of n cube. If they are given big O of n cube, so if you are having big O of n cube, some most problem, big O of n cube, that will be the solution. But you don't have any big O of n cube. You have this is left because of its omega. Among this, you will be getting solutions. So whether you have single solutions or multiple solutions, you may have multiple solutions for, because they are given the choice like this. Either it may be n power 4 or n power 5 or n power 6. So you can have 1 and 3 as a choice. You can have 1 and 3. So if 4 comes, this both it will not get suitable. Okay. So either these two it should come, but they didn't give any combinations 1 and 2 or. So you have a option called 1 or 3, both it will be coming, but 4th is not possible when compared to 2. Okay. So the answer is C, if I'm not wrong. Yes. So this is the basic things, basic questions the last year they have asked regarding algorithms. So now from the algorithm we are moving to searching. Okay. From searching also you will be having a question. Searching is very simple. You have two types of search. Generally, one you having binary linear search or a sequential search. Second, you are having a binary search. Okay. In linear search, you are going to search the element sequentially. So you have a single for loop. By using a single for loop, you are going to search. Even it is a unsuccessful search, you will be reaching only one time. You will getting the key, you are searching. So even though if you are having unsuccessful, you will be having big O of n because you are using only one for loop. If you are having only one for loop, that is more than enough to search an element. So in case if the element is identified at the first position, then it is called as a best case, 0 of n. Then worst case and average case both are same, big O of n, because you need to run the loop until you are finding. If it is a first location, you will be out of the program, single time execution. But if you are starting second and third, you need to execute at least 2 minus 1 or 3 minus 1 times. Then it is an average case, big O of n. Worst case also it is a big O of n, even though if it is an unsuccessful search. So linear search always results big O of n as an average case. Okay, this is the program for binary search. So binary search, what you will do is, first thing you should remember that binary search, it will not work for sorted array. So if the elements are in a sorted order, binary search, it will not, binary search always works based upon a sorted array. For unsorted array, binary search, it will not work. It is not in linear search. It is not the case. Any type of elements which is there in an array, you can search it. But in case of binary search, it will works only for a sorted array. It should be in ascending order. Then only binary search it will work. So how the binary search it will work is, you will be having numbers in an array with the in a sorted order. Okay, so 10, 20, some 30, 55, 60, 72, 80, 85. Okay, so what it will do is, first is it will mark this as a low, this as a high. It will mark this as a low and high. It will find middle is equal to low plus high divided by 2. So then it will point to this. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 elements are there. 7 divided by 2, you will have 3 or 4. I am taking it as a 3. So it will be divided here. So first what it will search is, if the element, the key element that what you are searching, it will check with 55. If it is less than 55, it will start searching here. If it is greater than 55, it will start searching here. So if it is a greater than 55, it will not at all search this part. It will not at all search this part. So that is the advantage of binary search. It will divide the array by identifying middle. If it is a less than, it will find left hand side. If it is a greater than, it will find right hand side. So here you are not using any for loop. You are having only one while loop. So if we are having a while loop, default result is big O of log based. If you are using a single while loop, keep that in mind. If it is executing for n times or n divided by 2 times, then log based is the result. If it is a best case, when you will get a best cases, if you are trying to find the element 55, when you are dividing middle element, when you are checking whether 55 is greater than 55, then the condition will get false. It means it results the result. So during that time, in a middle element, when you are dividing and searching the first element, if you are getting, that is a big O of n. Otherwise, in average case or worst case, you will be having log of base 2 of n. So how much better in big O of log of n is, how many times the n is running. So until 1 GB time, until 1 GB of execution part, your algorithm works better. So we have covered two things, sequential search and binary search. Now the question, it will be like, if there is a database in sequential search, or in case of any unsorted database or sorted database, whatever it may be. So in case if it is a database which is stored employee details, how you will identify, whether you will identify based upon ID, whether you will identify based upon the name. So generally what it will be considered is, it will be considered based upon employee ID, it will be start searching. So likewise also they may ask the question based upon the sequential search or binary search. Okay. So, okay, it is repeating, right. So as I said, you have a sequential part, you are going to search it. So you will have a single while loop. So where you are using inner if loop, if loop to search, okay, to search the element within the inner loop to identify the values. If it is there, it will print, otherwise it will break and it will be continuing. So this is the way, sequence of steps it will be performing for executions. Okay. Next you have a binary search. So these are all explained. Okay. Binary search. So binary search, what it will do is, first it will not start from here, it will start from the middle element. If it is less than, it will search here. Once again, it will divide. If it is less than or greater than, it will divide and then it will search. So this is the concept of binary search. Okay, you can able to do binary search only for a sorted array. So keep that in mind. Sequential search and binary search, these two are, that is enough to remember in searching. So most of the questions they will be asking in a binary search. Okay. So now we will move to sorting in a quick way to remember the algorithmic part in a sorting. So generally, when you will do a sorting is when you want to arrange some elements in a sequential order, then only you will be moving in a sorting. So how the output it will be like, the condition, the number which is prefix, it should be always less than the current node or current number. So always it will be like B1 less than B2, B2 less than B3. So it will be in this format. So how to make it in a linear way to arrange this? So mainly, even if it is a sorted element, even if it is an ascending order, it will take minimum n times to search. Okay, even though the numbers is already in a sorted order, it will take n times to find the elements, or whether it is arranged in ascending order. Okay, to find itself, it will take n times. So first type of sorting is insertion sort. So insertion sort, first it will start with the empty hands. It will start inserting the element by comparing with the previous, and it will be start inserting it. So I'm not here to take the insertion sort working or a procedure. How, if you remember the program, how many for loops, how many while loops minimum it required to sort the elements? Okay, sorting, arranging, how the insertion sort works, that you know, it will check one element with the other element, it will be inserting the element. So what it will do, it will compare the current element. It will compare the current element with I plus 1. If this is I, it will compare with I plus 1. If it is greater or lesser, it will be moving it. It will be assigning it. Okay, assigning to the previous. So it will moving, and each and every iteration it will be finding. So by using this for loop and while loop, you need to estimate the runtime and space efficiency. So why you need to measure the space efficiency? Based upon the memory requirement. So this is the program that what we have seen in a slide. So like the first, initially I have started how to estimate. You are going to check how many times it is executing. So this is the for loop, it will execute for n times. Okay, so next do. Okay, do. It is a do while loop. It is a do while loop. So how many times it will execute? It will execute n minus 1 times. Okay, then this is a command statement. This is a command statement. This is also, it will run n minus 1 times, but you don't have any cost because it is a command line statement. It is a command line statement. It does not provide any cost. Any cost it will not provide, but it will also execute n minus 1 times. Then this loop, it is also runs n minus 1 times. Then while loop runs, okay, until the for loop gets terminated. While loop runs until this for loop get terminated. So T of j, that is until for loop, it will execute. Then do statement, T minus 1, how many times it is executing? Minus 1. So this is also same, how many times this while loop executing? Minus 1 times it will execute. Last one is within the for loop, it will also execute n minus 1 times. So by having this multiple n's, you are going to calculate the cost. Okay, n plus n minus 1 plus n minus 1 plus n minus 1 plus summation of tj plus summation of tj minus 1 summation of tj. Then you are going to segregate how many n's are there. Okay, you are going to add 3 n's. You are having 4 n's minus 3. You will be having 4 n. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are having 5 n minus how many ones? 1, 2, 3, 4. Minus 4 plus you will be having this summation. So highest terminology is 5 of n. Okay, highest terminology is 5 of n. So the cost is you are going to measure in 3 factors. One is the best case, average case, worst case. So best case is all the elements are in a sorted order. That is called as a best case. Okay. So we'll go for a solution directly. When the insertion sort will be best approach in a sorting is when the elements are in a unsorted order. Okay, if it is a sorted order, it will take n times. If it is an unsorted order, you have, if it is unsorted order, it will run minimum n times, maximum, it depends upon the iteration. So among the program, if you have seen the program, sorry, you have n. What I said, if there is a single for loop, you have n. Okay, if there is a while loop within a for loop, for that also you have n. If there is a while loop within for loop, if you are having while loop, that is also n. You will have big O of n if it is executed for 1 times. Now the problem is there is a do while loop or while loop. Within do while loop, once again you have another set of conditions called do. Okay, there is an action that you are performing in it. Okay, what action? You are replacing the value. You are going to replace the value within it. So as a result, if there is a for loop, within for loop, if you are having while loop, then the result of this is big O of n. Correct. In case if it is a sorted order, the problem is in case if it is a sorted order, what will happen? In case if it is a sorted order, the average case of running time, it will be like n log n. In case if it is a sorted order, in least case, okay, the best case and average case will be big O of n. Least, average case and best case will be big O of n. In case if it is a worst case, it will go until n log n for it, even which is same for merge sort also. Okay. Next is bubble sort. You know what is a bubble sort? Bubble sort, lowest element, it will be coming on the top. From 0th element, you will be comparing which comes. So you are going to check these 2 elements, then you are swapping. Then next 2 adjacent elements, whichever less, you will be comparing. Then you will start next adjacent element. So this is first iteration. Second iteration, it will start from beginning. It will check with this. Then it will check which is less, means it will swap. Then it will check. Then it will get swapped. Second iteration. The elements, the higher order elements are moving down. Then the array size is reduced. It will check these 2. It will be moving. Then these 2, it will be moving. Third iteration. Then fourth iteration. So in each iteration, the numbers are keep on moving. So for this, how many for loops it needed? It needed 2 for loops. It needed 2 for loops and 1 if loop to swap the numbers. If there is a 2 for loop, already I said it is a big O of n square. Okay. If there is a 2 for loop, the okay. Best case also 1 square, worst case also 1 square, because even though the elements are sorted order, you need to compare each and every elements. Okay, it's not like a linear search. You are going each and every time you need to compare. So all the elements will be compared, even though all the elements are sorted order. So bubble sort complexity for worst case, average case, best case is big O of n square. Then in selection sort, you will be selecting 1 element and comparing 1 element with all the other remaining elements in your array. So example is you are going to take 10. You are going to take 10. You are going to compare all the elements. You will be comparing 10 with 14, 10 with 27, 10 with 33, here, here, here. One iteration over 10 is less than. Then you are taking 14. You will be comparing with all. It occupies position. Next, you are taking 27. 27 you are comparing with this. 27 you are comparing here. Here you have a problem. 19 is less than. What you are doing is 19 you are replacing here. Then remaining the element 27 it will be replaced. Now what you are doing once again, 19 you are comparing with all the elements, no replacement. Then 33 you are comparing with all the elements. This is less. So what you are doing is 23 is moving here. Now 27 is compared with all elements, no other elements. Then 35 you are comparing with all. So you are getting a problem with this. Then you will move 33. 33 you will compare with all the elements, which is less. Then 35. Then 34, 35. See, the iterations are keep on reducing. Iterations are keep on reducing. In a single iteration, it will be mapping the elements. So how many for loop it required? It is also required 2 for loops. It is also required 2 for loops for a selection shot. If it is a 2 for loop, already I said big O of n square. Time complexity is big O of n square. Okay. So while sorting, if you no need of any extra space, generally we no need of extra space. Okay. In case if there is a beside any variable, if you are having extra space, you will be having big O of n. So don't mind this. If it is a 2 for loop within the statement of execution, you will be having big O of n square. Insertion short, you will be inserting. Okay. So when you are playing a card game, you know how you will insert. Okay, you will be arranging the numbers for a spade, 5, 6, 7. For when you are playing a rummy, you will be arranging. So that is the concept of insertion short. So for this insertion short, you need a different set of values that you have for loop, and you are using a while loop internally. You are using a while loop internally. So what is? Do you remember? As I said, if you are having one for loop within a while loop, you have a best cases big O of n as the best case. So when it goes to the worst case, if it is in a sorted order or in a reverse sorted order, if it will go worst case. In general, if one for loop and one while loop, in general, space complexity and best case is always big O of n. Okay. When it goes to worst case, it is a least case. When it goes in a reverse order, then only you will get the n square. Otherwise, you will have big O of n. For divide and conquer algorithm, like merge sort and quick sort. Okay. It once again it depends upon number of iterations that you are executing in it. It is a simple thing you can remember, or understanding you can remember the cases. Mostly all the gate questions, they will be categorizing only these 4 types of sorting. By observing this, okay, by having this as a template, you can remember easily what is the worst case, best case, and average running case time of each different types of sorting. Okay, so mostly all the sorting type which have 2 for loops, it is n square. All the sortings which have any division, whenever you are doing division, if you are dividing binary search, you are dividing, merge sort, you are dividing, quick sort, you are dividing. Whenever you are dividing the array into 2 parts, you will be having best case as n log n, worst case also n log n. Okay, so we'll see an example for the divide and conquer. Divide means if there is a problem, you will be dividing into 2 offs, dividing into 2 sub-problems. Then sub-problem will be finded with the solutions. Then you will be combining. So this is all about divide. This is all about conquer. Merge sort. So merge sort sorting technique based upon the divide and conquer. So I will go to the problem directly. So you have a problem. This one, you are going to divide into 2 halves. 0 to 8 or something divided by 2. 4 means you will be dividing 4 here, 5 here. Then you have 4 elements. You will be dividing 2 by 2. Then individual. So likewise you are dividing. Then what you will do, you will be start combining. So this is combining part. You will compare these 2 elements, then you will combine. You will compare these 2 elements, you will combine. You will compare these 2 elements, you will combine. So by combining, you will solve. So whenever there is a division in array, you will be having n log n in a division. Okay, you will be having n log n in a division. So this is the divide. This is the combine, merge combine part. Okay. So how you will analyzing is, this is the program. Okay. So you have a recursive function. You have a recursive function within the program for a division. Okay, when you are having a recursive function, do you remember T of n is equal to T of n minus 1 plus 3 or plus C. So this is the statement you have studied for Tower-Hanoi problem. Here also same, you are going to divide the problem. Okay, you are not going to substitute the same formula, you are going to divide the problem. So whenever you have a division, like binary search, so then the combination will be log n. Okay, so this is the combinations that you are using to divide the program. This is you are dividing, here you are comparing. Okay, for merging the elements. So merge can be done by comparing the left and right element. Okay, so the calculation is the same that what I said. Here you have a combinations. What is this? Is n elements you are going to divide by 2. That is a low plus high divided by 2. So T2, that is twice you are going to divide 2T into n divided by 2. Okay. So then you will be substituting same value into T of n. This is the value. The same value you are going to substitute here. So you will be keep on going. At the end, you will be having n log n. So n times you need to divide the array. N times you need to divide the array to identify the solution. So then quick sort. Quick sort also it is a method of divide and conquer method. So you will be identifying the pivot elements. So initially you will take first element as a pivot element. By having a pivot element, you will be marking I and j value. I will be, you may study it in data structures. So this will be the pivot, this will be I value, and this will be j value. You will be move the I value until it is greater than and j value until it is less than. Then you will swap. Once the pivot element is swapped, it means all the element, once the pivot element, for example, if the pivot element 6 or 6, it comes here, for example. So all the element before pivot element will be less than 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. It will be here 1, 2, 4, 3, 5. Then 7, 6, 8, 9. All these elements are being right hand side. So it mainly based upon the element that you are going to move. Okay. So first element always you will be keeping it as a pivot. Then you will be moving next element to pivot is I and j here. You will be moving I value until it is greater than less than pivot. You will be moving j until it is greater than pivot. So then you will be finding the pivot element. I think you are aware of it, quick sort. That's why I'm going quickly. So what you will be doing after choosing the pivot at correct locations, you will be partitioning it. It means an array you will be dividing. So if it is dividing, same formula, T of n divided by 2 plus n divided by 2 plus 1, which leads to big O of n log n. Okay, worst case you will be having big O of n square if you don't have minimum elements. Only 2 elements you are trying to search, means pivot element will be there. I and j element both are in single locations. So minimum elements, for example, if there is only 2 elements in an array, this will be a pivot, this will be I, this will be a j. Okay, so if there is a minimum element, you will be having big O of n square. Then you having heap. This is also important. You know, you have studied heap. There is heap is also called as a priority queue. You need to construct two heaps. One is a maximum heap. Second one is a minimum heap. You need to construct minimum and maximum heap. Minimum heap means whatever the element which is there, which is minimum, that will be in the root. So if you are seeing, it will be in arranged ascending order. For example, first 35. So you will be inserting 35 in the heap. Then you need to insert next element on left hand side, that is 33. You are inserting 33. So 33 is smaller than 35. What will happen is it percolate down. 33 it will come top, 35 it will go down. So next element is 42. 42 will insert on right hand side. So which is greater, not a problem. Then you have 10. Then you are having 10. So 10 you need to insert here. But 10 is less than 35 and 33. What will happen? 10 it will go top. So you will be having 33. Then you have 10. Then you will have 35. Here you have 42 as it is. Still the condition is not satisfied. 10 is less than 33. Now 10 goes to top. You will have 33 here. Then you have 35. Here you will be having 42 as it is. So likewise, if you are arranging, you will be having minimum heap, that is 10 will be at top. So it looks arranged, it looks in an ascending order in a root level, not in the leaf level. In a root level, if you're seeing, it will be in arranged in ascending order, not in a leaf level, that you keep in mind. In case of maximum heap, for the same value, maximum, you always fill the heap by filling one second element, third element, fourth element, fifth element, sixth element, and seventh element. So it will be keep on going like this. Now maximum heap is maximum element, always it will be in a top. Minimum elements it will be go down. So same conditions, you will be checking, you will percolate up and you will percolate down to do a maximum heap. So for doing a maximum heap, what is the calculation it required? Is n log n. It requires minimum 2 for loop and division. Okay, minimum it requires 2 for loop and division. So default it is big O of n log n. So radix sort. So radix sort, it sort by its individual units. Okay. So you can check some of the blogs and questions for your reference. Okay. So I couldn't able to cover hashing. Even I have prepared for hashing. So within 2 minutes, I will end the session. Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Students, if you have any queries, kindly post that in chat box, or you can unmute and you can talk with sir.
Students, kindly ask some questions that if you have any doubt. I have covered only the portion is only I have covered the algorithms, searching and sorting point. Okay, so this itself it took nearly 1.5 hours it took, and I have covered the worst case complexity and time complexity. Still hashing and graph problems are still need to complete. Surely it will take some 4 to 5 hours to complete. It is mean that you need to spend at least minimum 5 hours to 5 to 6 hours to attend each session. Okay, 5 hours if you are spending, you can answer some 4 to 5 questions. You can attempt the 4 to 5 questions. If you are really working out many problems based upon algorithm, I'm assure you that you can answer 5 questions, 5 out of 5. Okay, it is my suggestions to you if you are really interested in practicing it. So as a CSE department, it is very easy to clear the GATE questions because the subjects, whatever thing you are studying from your 3rd semester to 8th semester, all the important subjects like data structure, compiler design, theory of computation, computer architecture and organization, all these subjects are very, very important for GATE questions. So from that only they are derived the syllabus. So it is very easy to attend some 8 sections from CSE department by comfortably. So if you have any questions, do ask me. So I will share some of additional questions which I have prepared. I have prepared some 58 questions, which is very important. They keep on asking same type of questions in a different scenario. So I will share that questions to the coordinator, madam. So kindly get that questions. It will helpful for algorithm part. Okay, that 58 questions belongs only for algorithm part. You can practice that. It is taken from 10 years of GATE questions. They are resembling same type of questions with different scenarios. Okay, try to use of it. So if you have if you don't have any doubt, we can end the meet. Okay, ma'am. They will not ask questions.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. If they have any questions, you can text me. I'll also clarify with sir and I'll answer you, or we can discuss on the upcoming sessions. Thank you all. Thank you, sir.
So with all the permissions, all your permissions, I am ending the meeting because I hosted it. So with all your permissions, I am ending the meeting. Thank you.